I'm Matt D. It's a Turnbuckle Bandwagon. We're doing something a little different today. We're not talking wrestling. We're talking Sonic the Hedgehog. My guest to help with that is the Shooter, Killian McMurphy. Killian, what's happening, man?
Who better to help you out with such a great task?
Right. I mean, this is, Sonic's a part of pop culture as much as anything else out there. I see you rocking the nice shirt, got the background going on there.
Yeah. Well, I just moved, so my computer is just in my kitchen, my shitty looking mess of a kitchen. So
Okay.
we're here on Radical Highway, the debut level of Shadow the Hedgehog, the greatest character in the history of the Sonic canon. But I'm sure we'll get to that later.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get to that. Let's kind of roll back to the beginning. The Sega Genesis as a system launched in 1989. Sega had launched the Master System in the 80s, had some success, video game boom, Nintendo's going. We got Mario Brothers, that franchise is popping. Genesis launches in 89. They try a couple campaigns, nothing really works. It actually got a CEO fired. And then in 92, they decided we need a mascot. We need a Mario type, some sort of character to engage kids. And along comes Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yep.
Kind of give me your first experiences, maybe growing up with Sonic. Was it the original Sonic game? Was it stuff later on?
We had when I go back as far as I can remember, and the systems were a Genesis and a Game Gear. So we had, I believe, Sonic 1 for the Game Gear, which was a solid game, and then 1 and 2 for the Genesis. And I love 2. Sonic 2 is one of my favorite video games of all time. Definitely my favorite 2D platformer of all time. I think it's like the perfect game. And I've played Mania, and like I've played 3 of Knuckles, obviously, but I don't want to sound lame, but it's a lot. Like there's a lot going on in those games. I don't think there's a lot going on as maybe a Sonic CD. I think that a Sonic CD is entirely too complicated with the time travel system and everything. Did you ever have a Sega CD? We never had one.
I never had one. A friend of mine did, and he had Sonic CD, and we kind of like we got through like a level or few.
Yeah.
It's very clunky.
It's a lot of vertical platforming.
Yeah, which is
sucks for Sonic. It's not really A to B. It's all about that weird time travel mechanic, and the soundtrack slaps. But that's like a given. The best thing about CD is that opening hand-drawn, beautiful animation to Sonic Boom, which is to me the greatest song in the history of Sonic. Like even better than Live and Learn. I come out to I Am All of Me, the theme from Shadow the Hedgehog. But to me, Sonic Boom is the peak of. If someone doesn't know anything about Sonic the Hedgehog, and they're like, I can only understand things if they're sung to me, I would play that song, and they would say, "Oh, okay, that's what big goddamn Sonic the Hedgehog is all about."
Well, I mean, they launched Sonic in 92. They do the Nintendo trick where you buy a Genesis, you get Sonic the Hedgehog with it.
Yeah.
And pretty much Genesis blew up. I think they saw a near double sales numbers from the year they launched Sonic. And Sonic became exactly what Sega wanted and needed. They needed a mascot, needed something to kind of build the Genesis on, and it just happened to be a blue hedgehog with red sneakers.
Yeah, for sure. Before that, they were bundling some like mature dungeon crawling game with the Genesis. I forget exactly what it was, but it's like a role-playing dungeon crawling game. I think it was kind of Morrowindy, kind of arena-y.
Yeah, they were trying to getting to more, and Genesis did this even after. They were really trying to get into more of like a mature market, like older kids.
Yeah.
They were leaning heavily into the sports games. Their marketing strategy, like the Genesis does what Nintendo don't. They were trying to play it as like the Nintendo was for little kids and the Genesis was for like
fantastic commercials. The old lady yelling like, I can't be more like that nice boy Mario. I say that all the time.
Mario. But really what you needed, you needed kids love a mascot and a figure and something to attach to. And Sonic, it was kind of the cooler older brother or cooler older relative that people seem to like.
Yeah, 100%. It was the in between Mario and that weird dungeon crawler that they paired the Genesis with. It was the perfect in between. It was just badass enough for my older brother to like it, and
Yeah.
just cute enough for my little ass to be like, "Yay, funny blue rat." I like when he goes,
I
which
mean,
is
also,
still what I do every single day.
and is it what did you as a kid like? Was it just like this funny little blue thing and the speed, the fact that the game was so fast for when we look back where games are at now, when you go back to that, you're like, this game incorporated a speed mechanic in a way that other video games weren't doing this sort of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely how fast you could go, but more so than that, it was like the big, bright anthropomorphic animals were very appealing to me as a kid. And I don't want to pin myself as a furry. Okay, I don't want that discussion started. All right, I know Twitter likes to go crazy with the big FURRY word to me, but no, but in all seriousness, like the bright colors and the honestly, what really got me into Sonic at the level of Sonic the Hedgehog fandom that I am now is I talk a lot about Sonic 2, but while I love that game, Sonic Adventure 2, where I got, this background from when they introduced Shadow the Hedgehog, the storyline of that I think is absolutely fantastic. And the fact that Sonic has been kind of pressed for good, engaging stories, and even like the story of Sonic 3, like when he comes to Angel Island, and the first thing that happens is Super Sonic gets punched by this red dude. Like Super Sonic gets like punched in a like and loses all by the a thing that kind of looks like him but the opposite color. Like how strong could this thing possibly be that in one punch he like beat the shit out of Super Sonic? That is engaging.
Yeah.
So it's also definitely, as weird as it sounds, the storylines that really made me a fan of Sonic.
Yeah. I mean, and you mentioned Sonic 2. I mean, as a video game player, as a kid, like the whole mechanic of getting all the emeralds, and then once you to track them all down, you go through those 3D stages, collect
Yeah,
enough rings, get the emeralds, get through the game on its own, and then you get like Super Sonic the Yellow. Just it was probably the first I can think of like an end game mechanic where you get to the end and you get like the special form or weapon. Sonic kind of maybe might have been the first to do that.
right, right. I can't think of one, but I'll be honest. When I had a kid, I had no concept of that. I never got to the end of the game. Like I never faced Mecha Sonic or Silver Sonic. Like, let alone like got Super Sonic. There's no way I
Yeah.
was capable of doing that. I don't know if I can't beat the game right now without save states. I got it in there, but I got it on the Mega Collection Plus. So that's an emulator. It's through the original Xbox, but it's an emulator, so you have save states on there. So that makes like that battle with the Death Egg robot at the end a lot easier than it would be normally, because it's like I don't know how people beat that shit on
Yeah,
the
because
Genesis.
2 had like the Mecha Sonic at the end where you had to hit it on the front of the head because if you hit the back, you hit the spikes.
Yep, exactly. And then after that, you had Eggman's giant robot, which is like you don't even have any concept of where the hitbox could even
It
be
could
at
even be.
all. It's absurd.
Is as the Sonic has grown, we've seen like spin-offs like Sonic Spinball and just the animals and Eggman. Where do you fall on the whole Eggman Robotnik thing? What do you seem to prefer him as? I know it was a
Eggman. It's
Eggman.
yeah, he's Eggman to me. He's Eggman to me, and he's voiced by Mike Pollock.
Mike Paul.
Like that's the ideal Eggman to me. If you say Robotnik, I'm gonna think of a Sonic Sat AM, the old
Okay.
Jaleel White cartoon. Like
Yep.
I think that's Robotnik. But if you ask me who is his rival, I'm gonna say Eggman. And
Yeah.
in my head, I'm going to picture the Sonic Adventure 2 Eggman, who he wasn't even voiced by Mike Pollock, but Mike Pollock is my favorite voice of Eggman. So it to me, we always called him. Actually, it's funny. My older brother called him Robotnik, like, and still calls him to this day. If it's brought up, he will refer to him as Robotnik.
Robotnik. Yeah, the cartoons were there. Now there were 2 launched around. I remember this specifically. There was like a syndicated afternoon cartoon that was kind of a little not absurdist, but kind of its own thing. But the Saturday morning one like had a through line in it. There was like a Eggman had taken over the kingdom, and Sonic was part of this big resistance. It was supposed
Yeah.
to go like 3 or 4 seasons, only went 2, but it seemed pretty like they went deep in on the storyline on this.
Yeah, it only got 22 episodes, but it is absolutely an incredible. It's not my favorite Sonic series of all time, and that's probably gonna like really make a lot of people upset. But it's definitely a hard number 2. and was my number one for a very, very long time. Sally Acorn, I think, is a brilliant character, and I can't fathom of how they would do it, but I wish she would find a place in the current Sonic universe for her. Like, they don't even have the Archie comics anymore, so they literally, Sally Acorn has no, IDW has the rights to the comics, and in their universe there, I don't think there's a Sally Acorn. So
Because
it's
yeah,
really depressing to see
with,
that.
with that Sonic cartoon, there was like a long running comic book, and that was the Archie comic book you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah, and it was basically that same thing, and that's what birthed a lot of the weird Knuckles comics that were spun off of that, and the whole Ken Pender's legal dispute, where he actually acquired like a bunch of those weird echidna characters from Sega because of like issues with Archie, and like it's a whole complicated thing. But no, it's like depressing, and then, like, even other characters, like, of course Sally Acorn's going to come to mind, but like Uncle Chuck, I think, is a great character. The one that gets kidnapped and roboticized, and they have to eventually save him.
I know he becomes like a spy. He ends up like working
Yeah.
inside the
He's their inside man eventually. By like the middle of season 1, I think they have him on the inside. Ro Bunny is one of my favorite characters. Bunny Rabbit, I think that's her actual name.
I think it was
Like,
something like that.
yeah, she half robot, half bunny, absolutely fantastic. She's got like the hillbilly accent just like me, and I love it so much. She's great.
Okay.
But it's sad that all those they don't have a spot for them anymore.
Gotcha. Now let's talk about Shadow, because Shadow's a favorite of yours. He's got like a back. Well, firstly, before we get into Shadow, how is it that this game has started from like a platformer with a funny blue rat to like this story that has grown out, and there's a mythology and a fandom? Like, has that how does that happen with this game? Is it just because so many people have kind of glommed onto it and the popularity has kind of pushed that forward? What do you think has made Sonic endure for as long as it has?
I think a lot of it is all the different iterations of Sonic. I think you have a lot of people that just saw the cartoons. You have a lot of people that just played the Genesis games. You have a lot of people that they're adventure fans. Like, I would consider myself a Sonic Adventure fan. I was a Dreamcast kid. And you have the Wisp Boost formula guys that are just just coming into Sonic the Hedgehog. You have people that just play the mobile games. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many iterations of it. And you could say the same thing for Mario, but Mario's never had good TV shows. Like, and you just had the Sonic movie, which, like, say what you want, which it wasn't bad. It wasn't, and honestly, like, I'll probably, like, on Twitter, you'll see me say it's the greatest thing to ever happen. Oscar snub. But like, it's not bad, especially for those weird, like, funny, cute, funny, furry, cute thing comes to the real world movies. Like, it's the best one of those I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was enjoyable. I caught it when it hit home. I was like, I had a good time watching it. There was the whole thing with the redesign, and good that they did that, because the original outline it was a little scary, like weird looking. I was like, I don't know what that
It was
is.
terrifying. And I'm not one of those people, like, I'll joke with my friends and say it was a marketing ploy. I'm not one of those people that actually thinks it's a marketing ploy because of the issues with merchandising and everything like that. But it was a very unintentionally good, like, marketing ploy. And I think it, like, really, like, even if they had rolled with the good design originally, I think it ended up with more buzz because of what happened.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that was probably one of the first times like a Hollywood big budget movie got pushed into a redesign, because the feedback was so loud and vociferous.
Yeah, crazy. They WWE'd themselves. They really did. What was I gonna say? In like the character of Donut Lord, I forget his actual name. The main cop character. He, to me, I was thinking about this today. is so much better than Chris from Sonic X. Have you ever seen Sonic X?
I've seen a couple episodes years ago. I'm aware of the
Yeah.
show. Like I know, like it's Sonic gets sent to Earth, and Chris is
Yeah, it's a similar plot
yeah.
to the movie, and eventually his friends start showing up, and there's a few good episodes. Like they redo the adventure games in there. They introduce this character named Cosmo, who's really really great in season 3, and they have a good like space odyssey style,
Oh, cool.
adventure, which is completely original, which is fun. But that has got some, and that was the Sonic program when I was growing up. That was like on I think uh, 4 Kids.
Yeah, that was syndicated. So
Yeah,
like Four
yeah,
Kids or like other blocks it would end up on. But yeah, I think for the exception of the Saturday morning Sonic, I think all of the ones that they've put out have been syndicated. And
yeah.
Netflix has one in the works for I think next year.
Yep, Sonic Prime. That's super exciting. Everybody's getting a new voice except Mike Pollock's Eggman.
I
And
actually
then
just saw that like it rolled across I think my timeline that everybody else was going, but he was staying, and people seemed to be okay with that. I was like, oh, okay.
I'm more than okay with that. I'm so happy. Like Roger Craig Smith is fantastic. Like I love him. Like when I heard him in Wreck-It Ralph, like when I was like, okay, that's actually Sonic and Ralph Breaks the Internet. Like when I heard him like show, and he's got like not a lot of lines in Ralph Breaks the Internet, but you actually like hear Sonic like have a couple conversations, and it's like it was so exciting for me. I love Roger Craig Smith. To me, he'll always be the Sonic Boom Sonic.
Yeah.
Like when I hear like if I close my eyes and I just hear Roger Craig Smith's voice, I'm gonna picture him in the funny handkerchief and the long legs.
Nice. So Shadow's got a bit of a involved backstory. It involves Eggman and Eggman's dad, I think. Why don't you kind of
Yeah,
give folks a summary of who Shadow is and where he comes from?
yeah, Gerald Robotnik. I think it's Eggman's grandfather,
Oh,
actually.
okay.
Yeah, he had a daughter, I believe, maybe niece, um, that he was taking care of that came down with a disease, and he was basically trying to create the ultimate life form to try to help cure this. Sorry, it's my email. Let's see if I can shut this bad boy off. He came up with this ultimate life form to basically help cure his daughter of this horrible, horrible disease. And the first time the experiment went horribly wrong, and it was the prototype, and that's why you get the bio lizard at the end of Sonic Adventure 2.
Mhm.
But the second time it was Shadow, and Shadow became Maria Robotnik, who was the young girl, her best friend. And they became close and developed a relationship. And eventually, something went horribly wrong. I forget exactly what happened, but Gunn, who was the like private military force, invaded the spaceship that they were all living on to stop Gerald Robotnik, and they ended up killing Maria. And Gerald, in like his rage because he had gone mad and in his old age, and that's what caused Gunn to come get him. Um, in his rage, like implored these memories into Shadow's brain that completely mixed up his relationship with Maria. And when they launched Shadow into space to save him, Maria's final words were like, protect humanity, be there for them like you were there for me. And the way Gerald Robotnik makes Shadow remember it before he's killed off by the military too, is that Maria wanted him to destroy humanity.
Oh.
And then of course Gerald like explains this in that weird like villain monologue kind of way. For some reason he's on death row, on prison island, and they're recording him, and he's explaining all of this, for some weird reason. I get probably so I could explain it right now to you. That's probably what he was thinking about.
He was he was like, sometime in the future there will be a young man who will explain this so that the people out who don't know the tale of Shadow will get it. And his introduction in this game is it done, and it's been a while since I've played it, so I don't remember. Is it you're just shooting along as Sonic, and Shadow just kind of comes out of nowhere and just kind of And
You're actually getting to play as Eggman for the first time
okay.
in the history of the Sonic series. So there's a hero and there's a dark storyline in Sonic Adventure 2. And how you're supposed to do it, you're supposed to play through all the hero first and then go over to the dark. But in the dark, of course, when I get the game, you're a kid, you find out you can play as Eggman. The first thing you're going to do is
Right
like
in.
play as Eggman. So you're in his little mech suit and you're shooting around and you're trying to steal this project that your grandfather had that they're holding captive. That Gunn is holding captive after all these years because I guess when he got sent out, they nabbed him before he got to Earth or whatever and cryogenically froze him at this base. So Eggman breaks into this base and he has no concept of like who Shadow is or what Shadow is. He just knows that his grandfather had something powerful and it's on this island. So he goes and he gets it, and then up like a slow reveal. And it's so badass. There's like smoke going around for some weird fucking reason. Like it wouldn't make any sense for this thing to be smoking. Nobody would be freaking out that this thing's going to blow up. And slowly, like he pans out. I guess he's unfreezing. I guess that's what that stuff is.
Oh, okay.
Shitty Dreamcast graphics. In retrospect, and he comes out and he slowly rises on this platform and he turns around and Eggman's like, Sonic, and he's like, oh wait, you're not Sonic, and then a classic romp ensues.
What is his relationship with Sonic? I would assume it's antagonistic.
Yeah, they from that point when they see each other, the government, and a lot of people joke about this aspect of the game. The government mistakes Shadow and all the shit when he leaves and he starts popping off doing crazy shit like destroying gun robots. They assume that it's Sonic.
Oh.
And people laugh at that, but like you got to remember that like people have barely seen Sonic. He's went on Angel Island for the third game, Mobius for the first two games. Sonic Adventure 1, they see him, but then Sonic Adventure 1, they also see him take this crazy yellow form in Super Sonic. So they don't know if this is some dark form of Sonic. There are no other big, funny looking hedgehogs in the world. Who else? There's only one thing that looks like this thing. You're going to assume it's that thing. You know what I mean? So they mistake him for that. And of course, crimes start getting pinned on Sonic. They arrest him. He breaks out. That's when City Escape starts, which is, one of the greatest first levels in the history of any video game. To me, it's only second to Turtle Woods from Crash Bandicoot 2. That's my favorite first level of all time. But to me, City Escape is absolutely fantastic. The song slaps. Like I have me and multiple family members that aren't really Sonic fans still listen to Escape from the City because that song slaps. But and then the way that Shadow and Sonic run into each other and they fight in those shitty one-on-one character battles from the adventure games. But they have a nice little moment at the end when you get a version that's properly mixed.
Yeah, he also goes armed a lot. Just decides to carry a pistol around or whatever that is because
yeah. So that's a hell of a thing. The
Shadow goes
Shadow
armed.
the Hedgehog video game. Yeah, that people can say what they want. To me, if you're like you have a half hour to play a game, do you want to play Shadow the Hedgehog or do you want to play Sonic Heroes? Every time I'm going to go Shadow the Hedgehog. To me, it is fun to shoot in that game. I love picking up a gun and just shooting someone. If you say you have to beat a game or you have to play a game for a few hours or like a week or so in your free time, I'm going to pick Sonic Heroes, sure. But to me, they don't control that much differently. And I don't, other than the storyline being a pain in the ass, the, choose your own adventure, 17 different endings to get one real ending. Other than that, I think it's a pretty fun game for the most part. There's a lot of big flaws, but there's just as many in Sonic Heroes.
You said you were a Dreamcast kid.
Yeah.
I had one for a little bit, but I had friends who had them, and I mean that was a very unappreciated system.
Super unappreciated, still unappreciated. God, it was so innovative. Like games like Shenmue, the memory card with the little Tamagotchi capability on it was fantastic. The first system with internet capability. Like, good God, nobody talks about that.
Yeah, and it just bad timing. It launched, and I believe the PS2 launched less than a year after it, and then
Yeah.
Sega just kind of they got out of the hardware business.
Right. Well, they were already dead in the water because they totally botched the Saturn. The
Yeah,
Saturn, in my opinion. I think they really screwed up the Saturn. And to think about it, the Master System wasn't that popular here. It was
no,
popular internationally,
yeah,
but the Genesis is really the only Sega system that had the wide appeal, which is sad because the Dreamcast deserved it, if not just as much, maybe more.
yeah. And it was interesting when Sonic and Knuckles came out, which it's interesting because it's more of like, I mean, it's its own game, but you also can play it with, I believe, Sonic 2 or Sonic 3.
You can do both of them.
You can do both of them.
You can do both of them, and if you plug it into Sonic 2, you get Knuckles in Sonic 2. If you plug it into Sonic 1, you get an infinite loop of those blue spheres games, which
Nice.
are the bonus stages in Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Just I remember when like the first Sonic when Sonic 2 was announced, like it was you get these games in each console generation that like sell people are buying the console to play this game.
Yeah,
And you can track it from, Nintendo and they bundled it with Mario, Genesis with Sonic, and if you go like PlayStation had like they didn't bundle it, but like people like bought the PlayStation to play Final Fantasy, 7.
yeah, yeah, for
every
sure.
every console seems to have that one game, and that the Sonic games were that for the Genesis because whenever a new one dropped, Genesis started flying out the door.
Yep, yep, exactly. And they thought they could get away with it the CD, but then I guess when they saw that didn't work, they put out Sonic 3D Blast for the Saturn, and I guess at that point you had to do something, with Mario 64 either looming or had just come out.
Yeah,
But that was just such a. I mean, was Spinball was Genesis.
Spinball was Genesis. Yeah.
What else was on the Saturn?
So was that one? It was
Sonic R.
might have been R was in there.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me actually look it up because that
So
now
yeah, so you get an odd little racing game, and you get a game that I'm pretty sure was already available for the Genesis, if I'm not, mistaken. I could be wrong about that, or maybe the
you
CD.
have, yeah, you had
But
Sonic R, Sonic 3D Blast, and Sonic Jam.
Sonic Jam, yeah,
And
which is
Sonic Jam was the
basically
was
all
the
the
was the
games.
yeah, the four main Sonic games. So Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles, and also featured a kind of a 3D environment called Sonic World, which is like an
Yeah,
interactive museum of the content, which
very
again,
very cool. That's very
innovative for 97, 98.
Yeah, and you had collectibles in that home world and little things you could do. It was pretty cool, but they just didn't have the capability to do a full game like that, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, as when Sega got out of the hardware business and Sonic was kind of, I know, limbo for a bit, and then kind of Nintendo came in. Um, what is how did you kind of receive the Sonic stuff coming out? I know like they put them in Smash Brothers, and
Hmm.
they were kind of like releasing stuff on the virtual console. Were there things in there that you enjoyed more than others, or were you always just kind of playing with the old stuff?
I was kind of always playing with the old stuff. I kind of fell out of love with the Sonic franchise there for a while when that happened. I think after Heroes and after Shadow, I was kind of like, oh, I didn't even make it to '06. I've know the '06 story well. I know it inside and out. I know the issues with Sonic 6. I've seen 8,000 YouTube videos on it, but I've never actually played it. There's no like real common ports for it or anything like that. Um, I'm about to play Sonic Unleashed for the first time here in the next couple weeks. If people want to check that out, it'll probably be Instagram Live at Killian McMurphy at the Shooter KM on Twitter. I'll probably tweet about it when it's coming up. But I'm gonna play Unleashed for the first time and check out the Werehog, which is I'm kind of dreading. Um, but up until Mania, and I love Mania. I think Mania is a fantastic game, and the Sonic movie. I think the Sonic movie first, and then I kind of retroactively went back and played Mania. I wasn't really, engaged with the Sonic brand, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. Except one thing, which is my favorite, Sonic Boom, which I think is a fantastic, fantastic cartoon. Not the best animated all the time, but the writing is so, so funny, and the voice acting is so, so good. I don't know if you've ever had a chance to check it out, but it's basically a sitcom that takes place with Sonic characters.
I've
And
heard of it. I have not sat and watched it, but I've
yeah,
heard of it. I've heard
th-
I've heard it's for what it is. It's a very well written, very clever type.
yeah, exactly. I mean, they got episodes that like you can tell, like there's a guy named Mark that is a super fan of Sonic that follows him around everywhere. And he's got like elements of Chris Chan, who is the famous Sonic tuber. Um, he came up with Sonic Chew and all that weird universe stuff. But no, it's got a lot of nods to like the Sonic fandom while still being, I think, appealing to any kid that watches it.
Yeah. Is there? Do you think, as you know, because we're kind of in this place with games where you can do like simple platformers. I'm an Xbox guy. There's a lot of like that stuff on the Xbox marketplace. Can they kind of sit down and do like a 2D but really amped up Sonic game and kind of recapture the original kind of game feeling, or is it better to just do the 3D thing? How do you kind of how would you prefer to see the future of the Sonic games as they go forward?
To me, when you describe that, that's a Sonic Mania too.
Okay.
Like Sonic Mania, I don't know if you've had a chance to play that, but it is an absolutely brilliant 2D platformer, and at every level of Sonic fan, from the most casual to the most hardcore, are going to be like on the edge of their seats with like cool references and like the mechanics and stuff. Like you go Tiny Sonic and Sonic 3 for like, you know, barely even a minute. But that Tiny Sonic game pops up like 2 or 3 times on Sonic Mania. There's a boss based on Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine,
Oh,
which
really? That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, the boss of Chemical Plant, and it's a like Chemical Plant, a classic thing. Of course, you got your Green Hill and your Chemical Plants and stuff like that. Those kind of nods, but it's Sonic Mania to me is brilliant. I would love to see a Sonic Mania 2, but I think there should be a split. I don't want to see classic Sonic like coming over. Um, like I think there's a room for a Sonic Forces, but a Sonic Forces done well. I think there's room for a good 3D. And I'm not gonna sit here and be like Sonic Adventure 3, Sonic Adventure 3, but like it's hard for me not to say you pop out this SA1, SA2 remakes, and then from there you do an SA3, especially when we just saw that same thing happen with Crash Bandicoot, and I wouldn't be shocked if we get a new Spyro game soon because of that kind of thing. Because I played those, holy shit, that remastered, reignited. Oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah,
It's so
Crash.
pretty and so good. I haven't played um whatever the Crash reboot is yet. I haven't had a chance to play that, but
Yeah, no, but I've seen some stuff on that. I'm interested.
yeah, no, I'm definitely interested. I love Crash 2. Crash 2 like is a Sonic podcast, but Crash 2 is my favorite platformer of all time. Like I Sonic, it's weird because Sonic Adventure 2 is my favorite video game of all time, but my favorite platformer is Crash 2. It's very strange, but there's like other elements of SA2 that make it great, like the stuff like the Chow Garden and stuff like that. Like that kind of elevates it. But it to me, like seeing the success of Spyro's reboot, seeing the success of Crash, which is a full-on reboot, Crash 4, It's About Time, and the praise that has gotten, it's hard not to see like a Sonic Adventure 3 coming out.
Yeah. I mean, I think with the success of the movie, and we'll talk about the movie a little more in depth coming up here. Um, you know, I feel like this is endured. Is it? Do people like have a preference in terms of the Sonic storyline? Like, kind of like it's like with like the Zelda fans, they have like they like this Zelda storyline or this Legend this Link storyline. Is the Sonic fandom kind of like split on that, or people have a one that they prefer over something else?
Well, it's like that element that we talked about earlier where you have a million different fans from a million different backgrounds.
Yeah.
Some people want the Sonic color style, Sonic 1 style, Sonic style 1, Sonic 1 style, Sonic 2 style, super simple, funny blue rat beats up the guy in the mustache in his funny little robot car. But then you got people like me who think there is room for a more serious. I mean, you can't take yourself too seriously. Like Sonic Adventure 2 has jokes. Sonic X, which I think is tonally, it's got its issues, but tonally, I think they do a pretty good job of balancing humor with action. Sonic Boom is a little heavy on the humor. Sonic Sat AM to me is an excellent balance of
Yeah.
humor, and like Jaleel White's one-liners are absolutely fantastic. Like one of my favorite Sonic voices ever. Um, Definitely to me, classic Sonic through and through.
Yeah.
Um,
One of the few cartoons around that time to actually get, I mean, granted it's a cliffhanger, but one of the few cartoons around that time to actually have a finale structure, like that last bit of that 2021 episode, there's a
yeah,
finale in there. Like there's like they travel back in time and they try and save everybody from Eggman Robotnik before he does what he does.
yeah,
Yeah, there's I can name a couple from around that time who actually did a finale. But again, the franchise has always kind of done stuff initially that gets looked at weirdly, but then when you kind of go a few years ahead, you're like, oh, that's what games do now. That's what
yeah. It's
cartoons
innovative.
do now.
Yeah, for sure. But the cliff. Do you remember what the cliffhanger was exactly?
I remember it was Sonic and I think was it Rose or who the princess character?
Sally. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sally.
They
And then,
went
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I remember they went back in time to just before Eggman did whatever he did to take over.
Hmm.
Or they went back enough to kind of like get their younger selves to like a
Yeah,
safer place.
and then basically something. I think Eggman either bails, or, like runs away to an alternate dimension, or they actually like
Yeah,
get rid of him somehow, and then it implies that Snively is going to
yeah,
take over. That's the big cliffhanger, is that Snively is going to take over. And I
yeah.
watched that. I'm like, is this like, are we going to go into season 3 with Snively as the main villain? Like, come on.
Yeah, so I mean I'm all for, and when you look at some animated stuff now like Avatar the Last Airbender, or stuff that gives you a through line.
Yeah,
Like I like the whole like to like watching that Sonic Saturday AM, it felt, I don't want to say it was like Star Wars, but it was very like, okay, we're the resistance fighting the evil
yeah.
robot. It had
It
that
was dope. It like got me hype. It got like, it's a team mentality. It's Red Dawn, right? That's
Red
the
Dawn was
yeah. I got big Red Dawn energy.
Red Dawn. Sonic Red Dawn. Dude,
Yeah, yeah, and that's what apparently Sonic Prime. It's coming to us from Man of Action Studios, which has a
Man of
history.
Action's doing that. Awesome.
Yeah, yeah, which has the history of doing like actual badass shit. So like, it's exciting to see like, it's not just going to be Sonic and his buddies spin dash a couple robots like in Sonic Boom for 3 minutes of the episode. Like you're going to have actual badass sequences and like some cool action. No pun intended.
If it's anything close to that Transformer series they got going, I'd be very invested in that, because that
Yeah,
Transformers Cybertron thing they got going is some intense stuff.
that's awesome. I'm gonna have to check out their other stuff to try to get hyped up and see what I got coming.
Yeah. All right, so let's actually talk the movie, because I was when they
Yeah,
announced the movie, like as someone, again, you've been invested in this for 20 years. When they say, "Hey, we've got a movie coming out, it's got money behind it," kind of what was your like initial like hyped or kind of cautiously optimistic, because video game movies can have been known to shit the bed.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's that was my first thought. I was like, this is gonna be awful. It's a video game movie. Like, what am I supposed to think? A video game movie where Sonic comes to the real world? How am I possibly gonna like that? But maybe that's why I liked it so much, because my expectations were so low.
Yeah.
Um, you start the trailer off with Gangster's Paradise, and like you think it's gonna be like fucking Scoob. We were talking before the air, Scoob.
Scoob.
Or before we went on air, we were talking about Scoob and the odd And you can say what you want. It did have its good moments and it had its ups and downs. I didn't like it really at all, other than a couple fleeting moments. But the soundtrack, in my opinion, is objectively awful. And like the choices that they made on the soundtrack were absolutely jarring. And when Gangster's Paradise comes in on the Sonic trailer, I hadn't seen Scoob yet, but I was expecting a Scoob situation. And to me, that's very offensive because like Sonic's music is like the thing, like the best thing. Like even when the games are shitty, the music slaps.
Yeah.
Like the Shadow the Hedgehog soundtrack slaps. Not a good game. Sonic 06 slaps. Drake sampled the theme from Sonic 06. That tells you that shit slaps. I tweet at him all the time, like, I know you're a fan of Sonic 06. He hasn't got back to me. That's 'cause I'm going to expose him more than Pusha T did. I'm going to put out 3.5 minutes about how he likes Elise. Just smile.
Wow.
Yeah.
Drake, it's okay. You and Killian can get together and talk about Sonic. Do another track. Maybe get Killian a feature on it.
Yeah. I only love Elise and my mom. I'm sorry. That's awful.
I mean, yeah, so they dropped it initially. The Sonic design, as we mentioned briefly, but we'll get into it a little bit more here, was not great. It was very unsettling to me. It was like
terrifying. And he had the weird feet as the poster of him.
The weird baby teeth. It was like
yeah.
It reminded me of when in I think it was Terminator 2 when he like tells him to smile and he's just like that's what I thought of, and I was like, what did they do? Like, did they put Sonic into the CGI machine and that's what came out, and it's just like some unholy thing?
Yeah, uncanny.
uncanny and scary.
Yeah, the eyes and the fact that you had to have like a super fan get in there. And I forget the guy's name, but he's done a lot of work. But originally he was just a Sonic fan. Get in there and to look at this design and be like, the eyes need to be bigger. If I was him and they bring me into this, secret lab. I know it wasn't this. They bring me into the secret lab and they're like, there's a problem. There's a problem with the Sonic prototype. There's an issue. We don't know what's wrong. And they pull it back. They reveal it. And that thing pops up. You look around like, did you play the games? Did you look at it?
Right?
But, yeah, there's so many iterations of you look at Ralph. I know it's the second time bringing up this, but Ralph Breaks the Internet. Sonic looks, it's gonna be weird to say, Sonic looks beautiful in that game.
Yeah.
Like Sonic, like proportionally is so well done, and like he moves so well and beautifully animated, and his colors are so vibrant. Such a pretty blue.
It's that Disney money. That's how it works.
That is that Disney money.
It's that Disney.
That Disney money.
The Disney machine is like, this ain't gonna look bad. All right, you get it right, or we send you, or they Disney disappear you.
Yeah. Could you, or they just buy Sonic?
Like, yeah, let's just buy it. Let's just do it.
That'd be sweet. Then I'd never have to leave Disney Plus ever.
Yeah, you just hang out on Disney Plus. Yeah. I'm in there rewatching Gargoyles for the second time this year.
Dude, that's so funny. My friend, my friend who lives down the street has been messaging me about Gargoyles all day, like for the past couple weeks. Did they just put that back on there?
No, it's been on there since day one. It just went. So okay. I signed up. We're going to diverge a little here, but we're in pop culture. I signed up for Disney Plus the week it came out, and then I got an email saying if you pay for the year, they take $10 off.
Yeah,
so I signed up for the year.
Yeah.
The first thing that went in my watch list was Gargoyles. The second thing was The Mandalorian, and then I have other stuff in there. Right. But Gargoyles is I watched as a kid. It was on once a week. Disney Afternoon. It was on Fridays, Disney Afternoon, and I sat every Friday, made sure I sat and watched it. And Greg Weisman, who's on Twitter, by the way, who's working on the Young Justice cartoon, has kind of implied that if enough people show interest in Gargoyles, he can continue because he worked on that cartoon.
Right. That's dope. That's dope. I think that's something that's definitely going to be happening. We're in the age of the reboot. That has to happen. And then hopefully Disney buys Sega. And then I get the famed Lightning McQueen Sonic race that I've wanted for so long.
Wanted for so long. This is okay. So this is my like. I am not in the Sonic fan. I like Sonic, but I'm not in the fandom.
Yeah.
Apparently, this has been like a debate in I've seen in corners of the internet of Sonic versus Lightning McQueen.
Is it?
I don't know. Maybe I
I
saw
need to
someone.
check that out. I know about the Shrek thing, the Shadow Shrek thing. Do you know about that?
I don't know about that. What's
All
that
right,
about?
well, let's see if I can change my background here. I know I got some options here that
Is it like a fist fight thing? Like who wins in a fist fight?
no, it's not a fist fight thing. They're romantically involved.
Oh, okay.
It's people shipping
Oh,
Shadow
gee.
the Hedgehog with Shrek.
That okay. That's a little much.
Yeah, it's very intense. It's very intense, but it's it's one of those things that you stare at it long enough, it really becomes. So maybe I don't. Maybe I want DreamWorks to buy Sega.
Just throw him in there. So with the movie, I mean, they have actors like Jason Marsden, who's also. It's interesting they had him in there because he's done a lot of voice work over the years for Disney, for whoever. And then you have Jim Carrey coming in there as Eggman, or was he Robotnik in the movie?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
he's Robotnik. I don't think they're referring to him as Eggman yet. Sonic might have fired off like called him an egg. Yeah, I think Sonic does call him Eggman because I think that's a part of the reason. Like, he calls that one guy Donut Lord. Like, he calls
yeah.
the main character Donut Lord, and he has weird nicknames for everybody. So I think that's kind of how they established that partially.
I mean, Jim Carrey's like a big name. I mean, having him in a fairly interesting movie like that.
And he's so good in it.
He's so
He's
Jim
so
Carrey.
entertaining. If someone's not a Sonic the Hedgehog fan and they're like, "Why should I watch a stupid movie?" I should be like Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey, yeah.
Jim
I
Carrey.
mean, like
His
all like
dance
the
scene alone when he's just like jamming out, it's so good.
but I love like all the action stuff. It was like, all right, are they going to get like the feel of Sonic because like it's fast and like I'm a huge fan of like the character of the Flash on the CW show and like they get the feel of the Flash. I was like,
Yeah,
you got to get the feel right. You got to give me that moment where it's like, oh, it's a Sonic movie, and you get
yeah,
that in that movie, pretty much almost every sequence.
yeah. No, for sure, for sure. There's a lot of good and different like styles. You got the funny Sonic fight in the bar, and then you got like the serious Sonic fight at the end. Like it's and that ending fight to me is like that's one of the coolest fights in any Sonic media. Do have my feelings about like his electric powers compared to like his chaos energy and the ability to go supersonic and what that means for all of that. I'm not 1,000% against getting rid of supersonic. At the end of the day, it is derivative. But it crushes me a little bit. I can't lie. Yeah, like hearing "Live and Learn," and you fucking fire up, and you're all yellow. Yeah, exactly.
Isn't that it, like hinted at the end of the movie that like Chaos Emeralds are a thing? Or
Um,
well,
no,
oh,
no,
okay,
it's all based on like him, like
okay,
and his ability, like to do some weird shit with electricity.
okay.
Yeah, they do send Jim Carrey to what looks like Mushroom Hill Zone, which is cool.
Yeah.
Because that has got a song that slaps from Sonic. Either Sonic and Knuckles or Sonic 3. I can't remember which one of that one's in,
So
but
I guess the sequel is supposed to be out some point next year. So maybe that opens up with like Eggman Robotnik like coming back from where he's at with like the legion of like robots. Then they find out they're animals, and then there's like, oh, we got to get to save the animals, and
yeah, I definitely hope there's elements of like that. And you're also gonna have Tails in it,
yeah,
which is very exciting. And I wouldn't be shocked if you have Knuckles show up in this one. Um, because
spinoff
in
baby.
the first one, it was the Echidna tribe that killed off Longclaw and everybody.
Longclaw was the owl, right? Kind of like his.
Yeah, that was Sonic's like pseudo dad or whatever.
Has there like outside of like Longclaw, is there like a definitive quote unquote origin for Sonic, like parents or anything like
Yeah,
that?
yeah. He was originally raised on a farm in Nebraska.
Okay.
His name. This is from the Sonic Bible that came out. That was it was an internal Sega document from '91.
Oh,
He
okay.
originally named Sonny the Hedgehog, grew up on a farm in Nebraska that befriended a doctor named Dr. Quinto Borg. And they would do funny experiments together. And one day Sonic was running really, really fast and he generated enough power, went supersonic or whatever. He didn't go supersonic, but he broke the sound barrier. And that's what turned him blue and gave him his speed. And from there, there were more experiments done, and then an experiment went horribly wrong with Dr. Quinto Borg, and he turned into Dr. Robotnik.
Oh.
So that's where they used to be really good friends, and then now they're the worst of enemies. So that was the original internal Sega document that was passed around before, the creation of Sonic 1.
Sonic's from Nebraska. All right.
Sonic's from Nebraska. Isn't that some shit?
now I could see Sonic in like at a bonfire party,
hammered off Fireball.
off Fireball or Everclear.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's gonna get in like an A-Train from The Boys situation. Just like hammered drunk, and he's gonna run over some woman.
No, he'll run through somebody's cow.
Yeah, exactly.
So if Sonic, so ideally if they say, hey, Killian, you come and direct the sequel,
which they should they should hire Dustin and I as two directors. They could pay us like collectively half of whatever they're paying the other guy.
I know, it's like you don't even need scale, just like 3/4 of scale. So,
and like you've seen our cinematics, we don't need a budget. We kill it without a budget, zero budget.
Just give us an afternoon in a dollar store and maybe some duct tape, and we'll work.
Yeah, and this funny CGI hedgehog, we kind of need him too, I guess. Other than that, though.
So if they come in, studio comes and said, "Hey, Killian, Dust, come on in, direct the sequel to Sonic." What do you have an outline, or do you have a place you want to start? What happens? What's going on here?
So The Rock plays Knuckles.
Oh, does he? Okay. Are we doing CGI or just voice? How are we working that?
Yeah, his voice, just voice. He's like Ben Schwartz's to Sonic. I don't know who plays Tails. Maybe we roll with the Tails right now, but she has implied that she's not playing Tails anymore.
Okay.
So it's tough. Nobody really comes to mind off the top of my head. But something with Tails is trying to track down Sonic to warn him that Knuckles is coming to kill him, because Knuckles has been, misunderstood about the history of his relationship with Sonic's and Longclaw's people, or somehow Longclaw's relatives came and wiped out all of Knuckles' people, and now he's the last of his kind. I think you spend a lot more time fleshing out the world of Sonic, the Mobius side of things, and I know it's not Mobius in this canon, but the planet Mobius side of things. I don't know if you directly talk about Angel Island. I think we're too far deep to have the Chaos Emeralds. I think we're too far deep to have Supersonic. But I think because of the success of the first movie, at the end of the day, the plot of Sonic coming to the real world has a lot to do with budget.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want to do a lot of CGI shit. You don't want to do a lot of crazy CGI worlds. But the success of the first movie, maybe we can. Because to me, one of the coolest scenes in the movie is to see Sonic running around Green Hill Zone.
Yeah.
Like, that was awesome. That was so cool. So I think a little bit more of that kind of thing, to provide some establishment of who Knuckles is. A little less Donut Lord. I don't think we need as much Donut Lord. But definitely him there as like a tertiary character to Team Sonic.
I still think you go with you're gonna need a budget for The Rock, because he's not gonna do the movie for free.
Yeah, no. Well, if we're directing it, I guess we would need a budget for The Rock.
or maybe you negotiate to where you wrestle, and whoever wins
That's right. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Yeah, we'll do it at Leapfrog. We'll do it at Camp Leapfrog.
Yeah, we'll get The Rock to Camp Leapfrog. Killian
Yeah.
McMurphy versus The Rock.
I'm gonna
Um,
text. I'm gonna text Chris right now and see what he thinks about
yeah,
it.
see, I'm sure him and Sam would be happy to make that happen.
Yeah, yeah,
I'd say like you do the Eggman Robotnik, however you want to call him. He comes back from Mushroom Hill with these killer robots, and a
yeah.
part of this they find out like they're not killer robots. He's taken the native population and put them
Yeah.
in robots to like mount an
Love.
attack.
I love that idea. I think that is a fantastic because it's such a nod to the original
Yeah,
games and like the scene that you could possibly set up of like this robot like gets destroyed and it's just laying there and it's like barely moving
yeah,
and you like think it's going to be this scary reveal, something crawls out and you see it's like this pretty like
it's like a
cute
squirrel.
animal that's like pathetic and beaten. Like you could have such an emotional scene with that, with the little flicky coming out of it.
Yeah, and then like Sonic realizes, oh, I can't just barrel through these things. I got to figure out how to.
Yeah, it's a whole emotional journey of like, him being careful and like I think who's the main actor? I forget his name.
Um,
Not Ben Schwartz, the guy.
Jason Marsden.
Yeah, him. I think him reacting to finding a flicky in one of these machines could be a really really good scene.
Yeah, James Marsden. Yeah. Okay. So in the movies as Dr. Dr. Robotnik. Just looking it up. And yeah, you can do, have him there, but then, what's Robotnik's end game? Maybe you like introduce a metal Sonic. He's built.
Oh yeah, I think that's the other. I meant to bring that up earlier. I think Metal Sonic is a definite for. I think that's going to be the big heel in this. I mean, you're going to have, excuse me, you're going to have Eggman looming, right? Like Eggman's going to be the mastermind, but the big fight at the end is going to be a Stardust Speedway. Probably not a race like Stardust Speedway, but it's going to be a fight between Metal Sonic and Sonic.
Yeah.
And I think that's all based off Eggman having that little hair that he has at the end of the movie. I think that's going to be the source of how he gets Metal Sonic. I think Metal Sonic's almost a definite, almost to me more so than Knuckles.
Yeah. I think because people like that dark reflection stuff. It's a very simple trope, but it works. And you look at the movies that's worked in Iron Man, worked in Superman. It will work in Sonic. It might be a little derivative, but I think it'd be cool to see like a metal Sonic with the red eyes and like the spikes.
Yeah, Metal Sonic is such a badass character too. He's so cool. He is definitely a very close number two. As far as my favorite Sonic characters, for sure. There's a scene in the Boom finale, which also is another Sonic cartoon with an excellent finale, where Sonic, Shadow, and Metal Sonic all fight each other.
Oh, geez, that's
like in one scene. And like, say what you want about Boom's action sequences, but that was so badass, so badass.
Does Sonic, as a hero, have like is Shadow his great rival? Is Mecha Sonic his great? Is Eggman always going to be the great rival, like the great enemy, the reflection?
Yeah, I think well, Eggman's the enemy, the arch enemy. Eggman's the antagonist, but I think the greatest rival of all time, in my opinion, is Shadow. But I think objectively, in the original one, is Knuckles. Super strength to match super speed. I think Knuckles is the perfect reflection of Sonic. Metal Sonic, I guess, is technically the original, but to me, Knuckles, and he's red, blue, like
Yeah,
it's perfect. It's perfect. And even their like relationship to this day, like when it's done well, where they're a little like shitty with each other, and like it's really good in the IDW comics right now. They're just like a little bit snippy with each other. Like it's the best relationship in all of Sonic.
right now in your wrestling life, as much wrestling as we're doing right now, who's the Knuckles to your Sonic presently? If you have one out there.
I mean, after watching GCW fight forever, it's got to be Erica Lee, right? She's been a real pain in my ass. I don't want to take heels Knuckles by any means, but if you're shitting on my friend, I guess you're shitting on me too, bud. And you're spear me out of the big goddamn cyberkinetico. It doesn't really sit well with me. That's the equivalent of punching me and a bunch of chaos emeralds falling out. And then her little piggy man, who's a lot like Metal Sonic to her Eggman, is wait, no, she's Knuckles. Whoever the hell she is, he kicks Dustin in the face, sends my poor sweet boy to the floor. He's like Tails, but he's like the really, really cute Tails from Adventures of Sonic.
Can't treat him like that. He's
yeah, exactly.
Delicate. He's delicate.
Yeah, he's not like the annoying Tails from the OVA that sounds like this all the time.
He's the good one.
Yeah, he's the really likable, adorable Tails that everybody loves and nobody finds annoying.
so Eric Lee is Knuckles. Okay, I was thinking you go Eggman there, but she's Knuckles, and then maybe War Daddy. I forget his name.
Maybe Chris Levin's Eggman, because he's the one that's always putting us against each other. Because maybe we could be really good friends if we didn't have the mastermind back there pulling the strings. She would make a great goon, right?
I think so. If you got space on the goons.
Yeah, there's always space. There's always room for more in Eggman's army. Yeah.
Bring her over to the side. That's fun. Yeah, I've just marveled when we talk about fandom, pop culture, which is a thing that, again, it's endured for 20 plus years. I mean, you've been a fan since you were a kid.
Yeah.
I've been aware of it. I'm a bit older than you, but I mean, remember when Sonic first dropped and it was like this huge thing. Like, there's tattoos and fandom and fan art and fanfic and all this stuff and animated films and just different, so yeah, you're directing the movie. I think we've pretty much written it for Paramount. So
yeah, we're going to bring you on board as the head writer too, because while I just spouted out casting and setting stuff, you actually had a plot. So we'll bring you on board, I think, too, as long as you don't want too much money.
No,
all got to go to The Rock.
No, it can go to The Rock. I'll give you the Arnold deal where I just take my money on the back end. So when it hits the theater and it blows up, I can get that money.
Yeah, we'll give you 10%, something crazy like that.
Can we make it 12?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Actually, let me clear it with Dustin.
All right. I don't want to. Like I said, you guys are on the lead. I'm just a monkey back here, just scribbling stuff out and handing it to you.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your time.
Okay, this has been great. I think we actually did about an hour, but it's been.
Oh yeah, did we?
This honestly might be like a thing that we can do. We can pick a subject and get deep on it. So before we wrap up here, I want to can you kind of give me, taking the original Sonic games out of it, and I'm gonna make this a little tough, taking Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles, with the rest that you've played, give me like a top 3 Sonic, maybe even people that aren't into Sonic, you would suggest for them to play.
So even if you included the classic games, for me, I would tell everyone to start with Sonic Adventure 2. I mean, I guess I would say start with Sonic 2, because Sonic 2 gives you the perfect feel, and you got the cute little tails in there too. But to me, SA2 is like a fantastic, fantastic video game. It has its problems. I can't say it's a perfect game, but it's my favorite of all time. So SA2, number 1 on there for sure. Followed by Sonic Mania. I think if you want an introduction to 2D Sonic, you're not going to get all the references, but you're going to have a blast playing Sonic Mania. It is so much fun. And then 3 is tough. 3 is very, very tough, because there's a lot of other elements besides good gameplay. That's so stupid for a video game series to say that, but there's so many other things besides good gameplay that are important to the Sonic series that make it great.
Like the music. I mean, the music has always been a hallmark of the series.
Like the music and the characters, which makes me, honestly, I was shitting on it earlier, but it makes me inclined to say Sonic Heroes might be the 3rd game on that list, because of the way they really introduced, because it was a soft reboot, right? It was the first time Sony and Microsoft were able to put out a Sonic game.
Yeah.
So they kind of did a good job of pretending it was the first time anybody ever looked at these characters. And there's a lot of corny dialogue, but the soundtrack slaps. I think they do a great job with Cream the Rabbit, and it's not necessarily her introduction, but actually no, forget Sonic Heroes. It's not on the list. Sonic Advance 1. That's number 3 for the Game Boy Advance.
All right. Killian, thank you so much for your time. I think we've adequately covered, or at least gotten into the breadth of Sonic, from its origins to depictions to characterizations to a deep fandom to basically structuring Paramount's sequel for them if they haven't already got something on hand.
Yeah,
We'll bring The Rock though. I feel like that's a good.
definitely. I'll be honest, I could go another hour, probably another 2 hours. I haven't even started the iceberg of Shadow the Hedgehog being a Christ allegory yet. That's a whole thing.
Really? maybe
Yeah.
we'll maybe we'll do that as a supplemental sometime in the future. We'll just do Shadow, and we'll get into that stuff, maybe
Yeah.
include like fan art and fan fiction and this whole weird thing with Shrek.
Right. Dude, I've been sitting here trying to change my background. I'm a boomer, so I can't figure out how to change my background on this dang thing. But I got some good pics that are already stored as Zoom backgrounds of Shadow and Shrek. Don't ask me why they're already there, but they're already in the arsenal.
Well, Killian McMurphy, again, if you wouldn't know it, because again, he's got the shirt, he's a great independent wrestler out in the independent scene. Killian and his goons, I've seen him wrestle as part of Head of the Class up here at Beyond.
Nice.
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that match a lot when I talked with Eel about it.
So much fun. I loved working with Eric and the Ducks. And
Yeah,
anytime I get to share the ring with like Eel and Logan, like love those guys.
Logan Easton LaRue was one of my first interviews, and the guy's special. Like, there's just something, he's got that just
Superstar, absolute superstar. Jacked, handsome, good worker.
It's the good hair.
People.
It's the good hair on the jawline. If you have that, you're good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Eel, where can people find you? Promotes if you got anything coming up that people
at the shooter KM on Twitter, Killian McMurphy on Instagram. If you want to hear me talk about more video games, I have an Elder Scrolls podcast, Arrows to the Knee.
Okay.
We don't drop that regularly, but every couple months we'll come out with a fun little episode where we talk Elder Scrolls, and you can tune into our latest episode coming out soon. I don't know. I'll bother our editing team and see if he can drop it. But we talk all about ES6, what we expect. Talk about me starting Morrowind. Some really, really fun stuff. Like I said, if you're a Sonic fan, I'm going to do my first playthrough of Sonic Unleashed. I know a lot about the game. I've listened to the soundtrack, but I'm really excited to play it for the first time, checking out levels like Rooftop Run, which is a classic, so I can scream about the Werehog and how it's a shitty God of War knockoff. Make sure you check out Killian McMurphy on YouTube. You can check out all the cinematics that Dustin and I have done, defending the 1CW Bulletproof Championship, which has been an absolute blast. And make sure you tune into Camp Leapfrog, as well as the Cassandra Cup coming up. I don't know when this is dropping, but Valentine's Day for Leapfrog, and then the 28th of March for Cassandra Cup.
I'll be getting this out pretty much this week. I'll probably do a little bit of editing on it tonight, and then probably try and get it out tomorrow. We'll include everything in there. Yeah, Cassandra Cup's big deal. I talked about it with Jordan Blade. Do you want it? When they announced this tournament, I was like, awesome, and now they've been announcing matches. Talked with Kings of the District taking on Bussy.
Yeah. EO is finally gonna pound some Bussy after all these years. We've been trying to get him to, but now he's finally gonna commit and get it done and make it happen. And if you're tuning in for nothing else, tune in for that, because he is a handsome young man.
He is. He's handsome, eloquent, wrestle. Jordan looks great in a suit, and she will also break things.
Absolute stud. She's a monster. She's terrifying.
Again, Killian, thanks so much. We'll be back at some point to discuss. We'll get more in depth, maybe with Shadow. The whole Shadow Shrek thing. And I'll do some digging. Maybe we'll go deep in on one of the cartoons. Maybe I'll try and find an older cartoon, and we'll just drill down.
Hell yeah, I'm about it. I would love that. Let's do it.
Killian, thanks so much, man.
Yeah, thank you, dude.